Miss Sargent. My name is Dustin Laborde. I'm here to tell you about standardized testing in my informative speech. Here with me is Corbin, Ali, Maritza, Miss Jeffrey, and Jasmine. Standardized testing keeps schools competitive. As we all know, schools like to compete with other schools for money or higher ranks of intelligence. Schools really like to keep students smart as possible so they can help endure the testing and going against the other schools. I'll go on. Testing can lower students' mentality. Most schools offer help for this, but as we know, testing causes students or children to less likely to pass or be afraid of making good grades. They're trying to make good grades but can't because they're afraid of their parents. Most students fear that their parents might whoop them or hurt them in the rear. Most schools, I don't know what to say. Most students have lower mentality due to schools being less helpful, some schools, in helping them, trying to help them on testing or other sources for higher grades. Anyways, tests cause depression, as my last part was just saying. Most students are a lot sadder because of testing or doing bad on these tests. Testing can cause students to be more aggressive or fearful of others because they dislike the idea of, how do I put it? It's like the idea of losing to the other students or schools. Tests are only useful in schools, really. Most grades or tests or any kind of subjects that we have learned in schools are only useful in school. Most students will never use anything they learn over tests or any of their classes in the real world. Tests are kind of useless, actually, other than the part to help schools compete. When you go on the idea of testing, you're a lot less likely to actually succeed in the real world if you're doing good in school, because that's all you know is how to do schoolwork and not work in the real world. And testing definitely does not help. As we go on with the standardized testing speech, how do I say it? No, never mind. Number one for my summary or conclusion of standardized testing is standardized testing can be useful for competing. Number two, it can offer help. Standardized testing can help adults or teachers know where a student is at when they're going or ranked in intelligence. Number three, testing can cause depression. And number four, intelligence for school is only school purposes. Most tests do not help, as I've already gone on. When thinking of these tests, most students fear because they fear of the low grades. And I completely. Tests, how do I put this? Tests can really lower students' mentality, going back to my second part of the summary. But when it comes to that, students usually tend to overcome it by coming back to school and learning from teachers or actually trying to study or try hard in their classes. Most students will come before or after school to get extra help to be able to do these standardized testing or tests. And when it comes to that, they usually end up passing over these standardized tests due to the fact that they got the help that they needed for it. And with that being said, though, standardized testing, your teaching can really, how do I put it, disable or lower the idea of students' intelligence because they're afraid of failing, and they feel like even if they did get the help, they still wouldn't be able to pass. Anyways, that sums up my test or my